I think better than other people and just don't care that like the mask will disagree with me.
I'm just gonna cut that bit out.
That's the cold opening.
Yeah,
in perpetuity. Welcome to Drafted. I'm your host, Daniel Prentice, and as always, I am joined by my dear friend and co-host, Preston Thompson, who's doing a weird little dance right now. So I guess he's doing well. Preston, how are you? What are you drinking tonight, my friend?
I'm doing great now. This show brings out the life in me. You know, slow day at work, everything's bad, the earth is crumbling down around us, and we're all just floating in space. And yet, this is fun. This is a fun thing to do. So I'm enjoying myself. I am drinking a black cherry cider from Urban Tree Cidery, which is local to Atlanta, which I love. And I'm forcing the fall, as I have been for several weeks now on this show. Which, sorry for missing a week, by the way.
Do not apologize.
I got hit with a little bird called the COVID-19, and it was real bad there for a second. It was a little touch and go on my ability to get out of bed and just operate as a regular human for a few days, but I'm back.
It's tough. It really knocks on your ass.
Yeah, that was no fun.
Yeah, it was like right after we recorded the last episode too. You were like, "Oh, I'm feeling kind of tired," and then the next day
around like noon, I started like sweating and had a major fever spike while I was on a Zoom call with somebody, and they could tell through like the crappy video reception thing that I had started looking a little green and a little pale, and then I just conked out.
A little green in the gills.
Yep.
Well, glad you're doing better. Glad you're back, friend. And we are joined for the first time on the show by Friggin Nerd Lee of the Friggin Nerds podcast. You all know the Friggin Nerds by now. We saved the best one for last. Lee, how are you doing? What are you drinking tonight?
I am doing fabulously, friends. How are you?
Can't complain.
I'm glad. I'm really glad that, Preston, you are over COVID, because it is not fun.
No.
I'm drinking a little friend that's called Dubby Energy Drink. They're sponsoring Mario right now, and
what?
they're sponsoring Mario, and I just got I just bought a tub using his like discount
code.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Lee,
why not?
You're plugging the sponsor of our show's greatest enemy right now.
That's true.
Not
I do want to say
start.
you're very
true.
supportive significant other, though. I'm not sure if Lauren listens to this show outside of the episodes she's on, so I don't know that I could get her to plug a sponsorship like that for me.
Does Lauren listen to her episodes of Drafted?
I think so. You know what? She wears the Drafted merch, which is a step in the right direction.
That's more than a step in the right direction. Listen, more than listening to the show. Yeah. Don't listen to the show. Just buy our merch.
Yeah.
It's true. We don't care about the numbers.
Just support with the monies. It's all good.
Yeah. Just the monies. The monies will be fine.
100%. Well, I am drinking a Wicked Weed fresh pressed wheat ale. It's got mango, pineapple, and guava. It's honestly delicious. This is
sounds delicious.
A leave behind by a party that my roommates had at our house a couple weeks ago. First time trying it. Really
that's the
good.
Best kind of drink, isn't it?
Yes.
The one that you don't have to pay for?
100%. Never turn down a free beer.
I'm not sure you've paid for a beer you've had on this show.
No, that's not true. I did buy a local one. This was like earlier in the season. I had a Fortnite beer because it's right by my house. But otherwise, I pretty much been skating on
once per season
on the freebies. hey,
it's the way to live, man.
It is. And if people were buying more Drafted merch, maybe I could afford to buy
a singular beer.
Yeah.
I know. Join the Patreon, buy the merch.
Food.
Yes.
And rent.
Buy the Drafted boys some stuff.
Yes. Lee, we need to hire you as our brand manager, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's my forte, honestly.
We've unlocked that achievement after having all the friggin' nerds on. It's like the combo. Triggered like the Exodia.
Yeah, your quest reward right there is Lee is your. She'll just promo all your shit for free. It's fine.
Well, second quest reward: Mario doesn't have to come back to the show.
You know,
quest unlocked.
I have that power, you know.
That's true. Lee is Mario's keeper. The best way to keep him in line, I think, is to get Lee on our side. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Mario's behavior changes going forward. If he comes around, if he undoes the heel turn, you know, what's it called when a heel goes good in wrestling?
They turn face, I think it is.
Turn face. Okay.
If they're a heel or a face.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I like that.
I know about the wrestling gimmicks.
Are Daniel and I heels and faces to each other? Both at the same time?
I think it depends on the day.
Yeah.
There are some times where Preston has the hot takes and he's the heel, and there's some days that Dan has the hot takes and he's the heel.
I like that. I think it would be hard to describe either of us as a face, Preston.
That's true. God, look at it. There's a reason this is a podcast, folks.
Yeah. There's a reason
we're not
settled
going
on
to
the
push our luck
audio
here.
medium. Yeah. But Preston, I think one thing we are okay at sometimes is drafting. So tonight with Lee, what are we drafting?
Well, tonight we're returning to a little place called Hogwarts. Is it just Hogwarts? It's like University of Hogwarts Academy?
Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
Thank you. Knew it was something. We're returning to that to win the House Cup, but not with just Harry Potter characters. We're not just taking Harry and Hermione and Ron, which, by the way, I would not have drafted because they're all just. Ugh.
I think Hermione would have been a good pick.
I think Hermione is the only one that has like positive, a positive
power.
net. Yes. And is responsible for like most of the house points in Gryffindor. But we are winning the House Cup with our teams tonight, which I'm going to start with this. Somebody needs to explain to me why the House Cup is one of the more arbitrary and forgotten things, at least from the movies. I've read 3 of the books. But the House Cup conceptually is a very cool idea that they drop very quickly and they sort of bungle with how it works. So it's very confusing to me. Lee, would you like to explain to me why that is?
Why it is that they drop it from the movies altogether after like book 1?
Or just like how you would even try and go about winning it, because I don't understand how the points are given out.
How the points are given out. Okay, so in the first movie / book, McGonagall says that your triumphs will earn you house points, and any rule breaking will lose you house points. So essentially, the way that they award house points is academically. So like giving a good answer in class, doing something spectacularly, like doing really well on a test, those sorts of things. They'll give points for acts of kindness, like doing good works and good deeds for others. And then they will also give points for winning inter-house cup situations. Like
Quidditch. You get points for winning Quidditch and stuff.
Gotcha.
So like you have got like an athletics, like a character, and an academic perspective there.
I buy it. I'm here for it. Okay. I appreciate it now.
Mostly you want smarties who aren't troublemakers, basically.
Yes. Because if they get caught like, breaking rules, then they're basically just going to lose all the points that your team is collectively earning. So you don't want anybody that's going to lose you points.
Right. Although it always, worked out. You say Harry would be a bad pick, but it always kind of worked out for him because he is
the Tom Brady of the House Cup. It sort of just always
kind of falls in his favor. Victory. Yeah.
Sort of just all comes together right when it needs to.
So if you can find a villain that's like also a teacher's pet, I think you're solid. But
Interesting. Somebody who's like good enough to not either get caught or kind of careful enough to manage their way in. Interesting.
Precisely.
Okay. It does feel like Slytherin does get robbed several times.
Yeah, but they can go
by
to hell.
Harry's ability to just, I don't know, be in the right place at the right time.
To
Slytherin
be fair,
can go to hell.
Prior to Harry's first year, Slytherin had won like 7 years in a row. So
okay.
They'd already had their run and they were like,
it's over now.
It's somebody else's turn.
Yeah.
How many years does Gryffindor win while Harry is there?
In the books, they definitely win at least the first 4.
Do they even do it in the last year while there's like a war going on?
Surely not.
No, because
surely nobody cares who won the House Cup at that point. Well,
And in the
killing
battle-
Voldemort's worth quite a few points, I think.
yeah, and in the Battle of Hogwarts, like there's like literally the house points get like shattered. So like the gems
Like
are
the
just
scoreboard?
scattered all over the floor. Yeah.
Oh no.
So like there's definitely no house
symbolism.
points there last year. Yeah, exactly.
Oof.
Like there are bigger problems in the world, friends.
It kind of makes you wonder why they were even at school at that time.
Well, I think they were being held against their will for part of that. I hope.
But why did they go?
No,
Lee's saying
because
no. Lee's saying
they,
no, they were not held against their will.
they weren't
just
held
like
against their
being
will.
at school, even when it's a fascist school.
actually, so what happened is like at that time, Death Eaters were like super running rampant in the world. And they kind of figured that at least at Hogwarts, like there's security in numbers. And also like there are still some teachers there that were like looking out for them and protecting
Mhm.
them. So
Feel
they
like it
kind
was
of
a safe
felt like
place.
that was the safest place for everybody.
Interesting.
So like some
Okay.
parents handled it one way where they like immediately pulled their kids and brought them home. And then other parents were like, yeah, but we got some shit going on at home. So you're probably safer there.
Mm.
Turned out not to be true because like the key battle of the whole war happened right there.
Fact.
But
But,
it
you know,
happened right there
they
because
win.
they like they bred the rebellion out of that building. So like, I
Yeah.
think it makes sense. Okay,
Dumbledore's army.
last thing before we get started,
Yeah.
because I don't want to take a BuzzFeed quiz. I want you to just tell me what house I'm in.
Oh God, you haven't done
I feel like I'm hoping you've listened to a little bit of the show,
Yeah.
at least
Preston,
the
have
one
you-
that Mario was on, and you get a sense of my personality. I want you to just place me. I want you to be the sorting
Oh,
hat right
God.
now.
You've never done
No
the
pressure.
Pottermore quiz? Preston?
Please do the
No, I'm not.
Pottermore quiz because I need to know
Wow.
officially what you are.
Yeah, that's wild.
Do you want me to?
Do-
I'll do
do-
it like during one of our breaks.
Yeah, do
and
the
then we'll come
Pottermore
back.
quiz and we'll reveal it to only the subscribers.
Okay,
Ooh.
that'll be at the end. Our Patreon.
Yeah.
segment.
So
But do you have a guess of what the quiz might come back as, or what it probably should be?
how about this? Why don't you give me a few words that like you feel describe you?
I want Daniel to do that.
Ooh, oh god. This is how our friendship ends right here.
This
We
is
always-
when I cower
we
under
joke
the
about it all
desk
the
and run
time.
away. Yeah.
Jovial.
You got to be so careful here.
Jovial.
It's because you always talk to me when I'm drunk. If you saw me at 9 a.m., you would not say that.
Loyal,
That's nice.
sentimental,
Handsome.
I does handsomeness matter? I don't think that's a factor.
I
Of
don't
course,
think that's a factor.
of course, very handsome. Quick to being a friend. I know that's not a single word, but like quick to being a friend.
So like kind or friendly or
Friendly feels like a cop out.
I understand what you're saying.
Oh,
though,
oh,
quick
I
to make
just
connections.
smacked my mic. Yeah. Quick to bond. Like very open. Maybe like open to friendship. Maybe would be.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, you sounded pretty Hufflepuff to me,
Yeah,
Preston.
I think you're a Hufflepuff.
You think it'll come back Hufflepuff? Okay. I like
that's
it.
my
Hufflepuff.
prediction.
I feel like I vibe with the brand of Hufflepuff much more so than some of the others. So I'm
Like
I'm
just
happy with
chill,
that,
but
if that
like
were to happen.
also loyal AF.
I'm good with that.
Would fight somebody like for somebody close to you, basically. But
Yeah, would be an unnamed extra in the Dumbledore's army.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Lee, what are you?
I'm a Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw. Okay, that
Yes.
tracks. That tracks.
Daniel, do you know what you are?
I am a Hufflepuff.
Wow.
Wow.
All right,
Okay.
all
All
right.
right. We'll see then. Stay tuned.
We'll see.
Yeah, the only the Patreon supporters will know for sure what Preston is. But I think that we all have that squared away. I think we're ready to get this draft going.
Yes.
Of course, as determined by our own sorting hat, random.org. Preston gets the first pick, Lee gets the second pick, and I have the third pick. And then, as always, snake style draft, so reverse order on even rounds. Without further ado, Preston, who are you taking first in the non-Harry Potter Witches and Wizards to win the House Cup draft?
Well, Daniel always says there's a number one clear choice every time we've ever done a draft. I think he's said that.
Only when I have the first pick.
I'm not going with what I think he's referring to, and I'm following my heart instead. And I think if you want, I'll take this person as a young person, like as a student, which is fine. But I think I kind of want this person to be like in a headmaster type role.
I think they all have to
which
be students.
Okay. Well, then in my mind, for just my
Well, they
mind,
could be a head of house.
yeah, head house, but like they've been there for a while.
It's time for them to move on.
Literally thousands of years. I'm going to take Gandalf.
No.
Yeah, that's what did you? Okay, now I'm confused as to what you think. I thought the number one pick was because
Oh,
Gandalf
okay.
is clearly the
Well,
number one pick.
maybe that person will still be available when it comes back around to me. I
maybe so.
don't know. I think I want to take Gandalf the Grey because of Gandalf the Grey's ability to like his original mission, if you get into the lore, is to be an ambassador to all the different races and peoples of Middle Earth. Gandalf the White's mission is to like go win the war. So I think I want Gandalf the Grey because it's a much more like homely
Ravenclaw.
Sure, there you go.
He's in it for the knowledge, not for the power.
That's right. That's exactly right.
It is a famed gaping hole in my pop culture knowledge that I've not seen the Lord of the Rings films. Are Gandalf
It's just unbelievable to me. Every time you say it, I shrivel up.
You and Mario, obviously.
Mario,
are
he's
friends.
back on my good graces. Let's go,
Ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. I can't believe it.
He
Gandalf-
just watched them, so you'll just have to join the Friggin
Nice.
Nerd community and watch with us.
Okay, yeah, they are on the to-do list. I promise. But are Gandalf the Grey, Gandalf the White not the same person, just at different times in his?
Okay, to briefly explain it, do you know who Saruman is? Saruman the White.
Yeah, he's Christopher Lee.
Yes, he becomes a bad guy, and when
He was not a bad guy to start.
No,
Okay.
he's corrupted by the power of the bad guys.
Ooh.
When Gandalf the Grey, when something happens to him, he turns into Gandalf the White because Saruman the White has abdicated his responsibilities. That is essentially like the short answer. There's more to it than that, but
So the
So
Grey and
picture,
White are like
like-
his title, basically.
yes.
Yes, and appearance.
Yeah.
Picture
Yes.
like Dumbledore, and then Dumbledore when, like in book 7 or movie 7, when he's talking to Harry in the train station right before
Mm.
Harry's about to die, that
Mhm.
sort of vibe of Dumbledore.
Mm.
That's kind of like the
That's
difference.
Gandalf the White. Yeah.
What a weird scene
And he's
that is.
he's significantly stronger and like more powerful. But that's
He's
not
like
what I'm really
leveled
going
up.
for
He's
here.
evolved.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
okay,
Gandalf
okay.
the Grey uses his magic powers to make really cool fireworks, and like he doesn't care about much beyond that.
Smoking the reefer and lighting the
Oh, yeah.
fireworks.
Smoking the old Toby.
So is that not breaking rules? Do we know how Hogwarts feels about illicit substances?
It seems like people are getting high off their butts in the back. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah,
I
I mean the
mean-
Weasley brothers for crying out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like they're selling love potions and shit. So I'm pretty sure.
It's true. And like in like weird Big Brother style maps, so you can see where everybody is. I think weed is the least of the problems they've got over there.
Yeah,
They're like,
that's
you
factual.
Hufflepuffs are right near the kitchen. Go for it.
Go for it. Just stay out of the way.
So I think this is the correct pick, Preston. If for no
Thank
reason
you.
that Gandalf is the wizard, like when you think of witches and wizards, if you don't think of Harry Potter, you think of Gandalf. So I mean, I think this is the correct pick.
Yes.
Lee, where are you going with
Hello.
your first selection?
Okay, well, I was going with Gandalf, but that is obviously no longer an option. So
Mhm.
I am gonna go with the second wizard that I think of when I think of wizard that pops into my head, and I'm hoping that I don't have to pick a specific version of this wizard. But I'm gonna go with Merlin.
See, that's who I thought the clear number one first pick was
Oh,
when
okay.
when you alluded to it, Dan, because I know you really like that particular movie too. So I thought that in the draft.
Oh,
would be
Sword in the
first
Stone?
thing,
Yes.
yeah, that comes.
Oh,
to
I
your mind.
actually don't like it that much, to be honest with you. I just
Oh,
don't remember
really?
it very well. Yeah.
I guess we just end up talking about it a lot
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Merlin's a great choice here, and he's also alluded to in the Harry
Yeah,
Potter.
so this is
universe.
my question. Does Merlin fall into the category of non-Harry Potter wizard?
He doesn't only exist in the Harry Potter universe. He exists he exists in all of the different universes. He's originally conceived of not by J.K. Rowling, which I think is
And-
like the mark.
and he's more like a historical wizard
Mhm.
versus like she pulls a lot from like actual historical lore about witchcraft and wizardry.
I
So
thought you were gonna say actual historical wisdom.
Actual history.
no,
Actual wizards
actual
and witches.
wizarding history. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think he's just like one of those general sort of, like Preston was saying, a general character that
He's the granddaddy of all wizards.
yeah.
Yeah, and for that, it's a good pick. I did not have him on my list because I felt like he was, he canonically he is in the same universe as Harry Potter, only because.
Yeah, but so is all of Earth. So I don't know. It just seems that seems way too tough.
Yeah, but a lot of wizards don't live on Earth,
I suppose.
But Merlin also exists outside of Harry Potter, and that's the version that I'm thinking.
I think it's very fine to take him. I just, I think it was worth having the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I then am. I mean, if with Merlin included, those are the clear top two, regardless of which order you take them. I think so. Now I'm in a tight spot, but I think I am going to go with the first witch off the board, and this is tricky because we don't see how powerful she is really, but being good is in her name, and so therefore I feel like she has to be pretty good. Something Glenda the Good Witch.
Very nice.
That was also in my S tier.
Also in my S tier.
All right.
Very nice.
That makes me feel good.
Yep.
The problem I'm running into is I usually have 18 people on my list, or 18 items when we do a draft, to make sure that I will be able to get something off my list. I can only get to 12 this time.
Ooh.
So I need some of you guys to pick off the
Take
board.
picks that are off the board.
Yes, please. Or else I'm really going to have to think on my feet. Of course, nothing that has happened so far has been like that, but I was hoping Glenda would get back to me.
Yeah.
Same.
Now
I think the assumption is that she's very powerful. So like, I think you're fine.
Not to like knock my own pick, but she seems to have zero jurisdiction or ability to like prevent the evil witches from doing anything evil.
Is she not one of the principal characters in Wicked? I've never seen Wicked.
Is.
Do we learn about her abilities in Wicked?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Wicked. Like she's just really like what I remember most is that she's like a really popular girl in Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
is that what the song is about?
Because she's supposed to, popular.
Yeah.
Like she's very kind and popular. Like she's kind. She tries to be kind.
Wicked takes a very kind eye to the evil witches, though. So I'm not sure how canon like
revisionist history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. My next pick, because I think Glenda probably gonna be a bit of a goody two shoes. And yes,
which
that's
is
probably
good.
Yeah, that is good. She's not going to lose
get
me
you
any
some
points.
No, but she'll also get you points with like those good acts.
Good
Samaritan acts.
She's going to get the highest levels on all of her owls. So I'm not worried about it. But you both, I think, are going to get more points with your first pick out of your kind of just like the adventurous sides of your characters. So I'm going to go for that a little bit, just like people going above and beyond, even if there's a bit of a risk to them. I'm going to take Geralt of Rivia with my second pick.
Okay.
Ooh.
See, I like this pick for a couple reasons. One,
it's not on your board.
don't know. No. Well, yes, it's not on my board because I thought he fell outside what you had kind of talked to me about the definitions of. I don't, to be clear. I think it's a great pick. But it makes me think that you're going to have a tougher time arguing against some of my picks if you're taking
let's get. I mean, I'm looking forward to getting to those conversations. I think that's half the fun of drafting is like figuring out what's a legal pick or not.
It's trying to break the rules.
Yeah.
With Geralt is undoubtedly one of the more powerful people that will end up on your list here, but is also, like pretty murderous. Like he's a sellsword. He kills people, which, considering like the spell I see most often is like disarming, and the only people that use the murder spells are the bad guys. I think he's clearly a Slytherin, is I guess what I'll say. Clearly, I don't think it's close. I think he's very clearly a Slytherin.
I could see Geralt being a Gryffindor.
it seems like his pursuit of his studies in Hogwarts will be for him to be able to make more money.
Mm.
I know
Yeah.
like he has other relationships that drive them in the stories and stuff, but like why
But
else
not
would he be in
really.
Hogwarts? But not really, right?
Because like as a Witcher, like don't they like take his ability to feel too? So like
Yeah.
that's like a big thing, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I need to go
You
back
can
and rewatch
choose to
Witcher.
have Geralt fall in love, so he's capable.
Okay.
But
He's
I-
certainly
but I-
capable.
he's just gonna be doing a lot of adventuring, I think, as a young lad at Hogwarts.
And he's gonna turn some very like Victor Crumb kind of heads. You know?
Mhm.
Isn't that his name? It's been a
Victor
while
Crumb?
since I've watched
Yeah,
those
the
movies.
the
Yeah, people are
Durmstrang
when
guy.
he shows up to the Winter's Ball, people are gonna be like, oh my god.
yeah. Yeah, indeed.
That's true. That's true. That means it's my turn, doesn't it?
It is, yes,
Yes.
Lee. You're time for your second pick.
Sugar. Okay.
Oh, sugar.
I think I'm gonna go with see, here's the thing. The ones that are in my S tier, right? I have some really good picks, some really strong picks, but also they could get me in trouble. Like they could
Mhm.
they're like on the line.
Too strong.
Yeah. Like they could, yeah, they just don't have yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Sabrina, the Teenage Witch.
Ooh.
It's a good pick.
I feel
Dang it.
like
Ugh.
she's got the person that, like the kind factor, she's got the academic factor. Maybe not so
Just-
much the athletic factor, but that's okay.
Feels like she
Oh.
can slot right into Hogwarts very well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
she's a bit like I had Sabrina on my list, but I feel like she maybe should have gone later. Right? It's like maybe I don't remember Sabrina super well, but isn't she like not the most accomplished witch? Isn't she kind of like a little?
She's a witch in training.
struggling
God
with
forbid
it?
she
Yeah.
be at a school.
she's a witch in training. And I feel like she learns lessons pretty well. Like
Mm.
once she practices and all of that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like she's got it. You know what I mean? She's got that little
She
oomph,
seems
That little
very
je ne sais quoi.
willing to
little
learn.
spunk.
Mhm.
Sure,
Very
sure.
willing to learn. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
just-
was
best.
about to take her, so I think
Oh, really?
Sabrina was taking at the appropriate time. Yeah.
Yeah, I had her
Perfect.
in my B tier just because I feel like the whole Sabrina vibe is like she's a witch, but also if like witches could just be your average everyday girl.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know if like your
Wow.
average everyday girl is like going to get you a ton of points in the house cup. I don't know.
Wow. Wow, Dan. Tell
that
us how
pro-
you really
Is that
feel.
problematic?
Wow.
I mean, everybody
First
starts out
cancellation
somewhere.
of the drafted podcast.
Well, we lived a good long life.
Yeah. we
Podcast
made
hosted
it. Listen,
by two white guys making it this far into season 3 before getting canceled. Pretty good.
pretty good.
I'll take
Pretty
it.
good.
All right, so
Great.
we
That's a-
take
Yeah,
Sabrina.
that's a nice pick. That's a nice pick. The problem is the next two people on my list are both arguments about being included here.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
And
Let's
two
do one at a
back-to-back
time then,
arguments.
shall we? Yeah.
well, yeah, I was gonna ask if I should soften you up by going with somebody more conventional, but I'm like I gotta be honest, I'm already running out of good options.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
All right. Okay. I think this person is very clearly a witch.
Okay.
I don't know that they're ever referred to as a witch in the films, but I'm pretty sure she's a witch. I'm gonna take Mary Poppins.
She was on my list. She was on my list.
That I feel like that's good evidence that she should be considered a legal choice.
So she, in doing my prep for this, she is on lots of lists as like best witches,
A
or
fictional
whatever,
witch. Yeah.
as opposed to the real life witches. Yes.
She literally has like some of the same traits that they exemplify in like the Harry Potter universe. Like she has the bag of holding and some other stuff that is like crossover. It feels to me
Here's-
like they're of the same cloth.
She's got the potion, spoonful of sugar.
That's right.
Here's-
Exactly.
Here's the thing. I think the only thing that makes Mary Poppins not a witch is that people don't think of her as a witch. You know? But
No,
I
they think of her as a nanny.
yeah, but she quite clearly is a witch.
Okay.
Like very clearly. But like it just like kind of blew my mind because it's like I'd never in a million years would have thought of Mary Poppins as a witch.
As being a witch.
But like
Me neither.
she kind of inarguably is, right?
yeah,
Yep.
I think so. But yeah, there's a subversion expectation may be there.
Yeah.
But are you trying to argue against me, or are you complimenting?
No,
the
I
filmmaking?
no, I think it's fine. I didn't have her on my list just because she doesn't feel like a witch, but I genuinely have no real like rational argument against her
Gotcha.
being considered eligible.
I like
other
to
than
think
that she doesn't
Hagrid-
feel like a witch.
I like to think Hagrid's umbrella and Mary Poppins' umbrella are the same.
Is the same?
umbrella. Yeah.
Quite
Makes
possible.
you think. Makes
It's
you
more
think.
conventional to carry around an umbrella than a wand, isn't it? It's more proper,
More easily, like,
concealed.
looked over by
Concealed.
muggles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Big believer in concealed carry. Mary Poppins is. Okay.
Let's
That was
not do Mary
terrible.
Poppins like that.
Yeah,
please.
let's not do that. Let's skip that.
Oh my
and
God.
Never come back to it. Okay. All right. I am gonna potentially walk into another fight here, but I think I'll be okay.
You
and
dodged
I-
the first one.
Yeah, thank you for that, team. I am going to take Sorcerer Stephen Strange. I believe he is a wizard. I believe he's probably one of the only Marvel characters, at least from the MCU, you could think of as a wizard. He is a wizard. He goes to wizard school. He learns wizard powers.
Does he go to
He
wizard
guards.
school?
He guards over a wizard museum that has a bunch of wizard artifacts in it. Like it seems to me like he's a wizard.
Does he go to wizard school?
He goes to a school that unlocks the sorcerer powers within him. Yeah. I think if you want to argue he's a sorcerer and that sorcerers and wizards are different, then that's a different discussion. But if you're going to argue that Geralt of Rivia is a wizard, then I think I have to be able to get away with Stephen
Well,
Strange.
my impression of I've only seen the first Doctor Strange movie once, but my impression of it was that he just like goes and kind of unlocks this like Zen like state, right? It never felt magical to me.
I think you need to watch some of the other movies and in some of the comics too. I mean, like it has a similar vibe too, especially with the artifacts, the cloak of I don't remember what it's called, and the Eye of Agamotto, and like some of these other things he uses are very like magical artifacty that make him feel more like a wizard. I think you need to watch some of the other movies though, because he has like magic, like he does magic. I
Lee,
mean,
what do you think?
Lee, where are you at?
I definitely feel like he was on my list. So
Lee, this is where you take a stance and be like, no shot. There's absolutely no way.
He was definitely not on my list.
he
You're
was
an
definitely
idiot.
on my list.
You're an idiot, and I hate you.
Definitely was on my list.
I don't feel good
So-
about this, but if Lee is on your side, I'm outvoted here.
I mean, I think
I-
he's a sorcerer, and I think
They're like
the-
kind of one and
we're
the same.
not choosing to make the distinction between wizard and sorcerer today. Because you took
Not
Geralt
today,
of Rivia.
Satan.
You took Geralt of Rivia, which really opened the door here. I think.
Yeah,
because
because he's a witcher. He's technically a
and
witcher.
does not. He has the same unlocking of his abilities that I would argue like Stephen Strange does. He's not using a wand. He's not using like an amplifier. Like it's the same. It's the same sort of thing.
Okay. Do we not feel though that Doctor Strange, especially before he gets humbled by losing his hands or whatever,
This is the real argument: is that he's a piece of shit. Yeah,
kind of a piece of shit. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I can't, because we're taking them all when they're young. It would feel cheap for me to say I'm taking him after he's had his
breakthrough.
Yeah, but I will say he's a piece of shit in his relationships. But in terms of how the House Cup is measured, he's incredibly smart. He's brilliant. He's shown in the movies to pick up concepts like super quickly and things like that. Like he's a really good student at the pain of the relationships in his life. That's kind of his whole foil. And I feel like that actually works for the House Cup.
It can, because he wouldn't necessarily lose points just for being an asshole unless he was like deliberately a bully.
Yeah.
And the right teacher caught him.
I think
And
he
he's-
would be though, right?
I don't know. I mean,
think
he doesn't bully strangers in Doctor Strange. He's not nice to the people that are trying to be nice to him.
Yeah, and he definitely fits the bill of a Slytherin. Like he's 100% a Slytherin.
Major Slytherin energy, yeah.
Like definitely driven, definitely like all for the the power and the glory sort of thing. But I don't necessarily think that makes him a bully. I think it makes him driven. I don't necessarily see him being like, I feel like maybe he would have a snide remark here or there, and maybe that could lose him points, but I don't know. I feel like he would gain way more points. Like teachers, when you give the right answer in class, they're handing out points like left and right. So they'd be like 10 points to Slytherin, 20 points to Slytherin. Like he could earn some serious point bank.
There was a little man known as James Potter who this is sounding a lot like to me. And
No, see, to me, it sounds more like
his pictures on the wall. So
sounds more like Tom Riddle to me.
Tom
honestly.
Riddle, yeah.
okay, well, he had a pretty successful career. I mean, what he set out to do, he did it quite well. So,
Yeah, I guess. What kind of points did Tom Riddle rack up? I don't know.
He was a prefect, so plenty of points.
Well,
plenty,
shit. There you
Plenty.
go. There you go. All right, Lee. What is your third pick? Now that
Oh
we've
dear.
allowed Preston to win this draft.
Thanks, guys.
Oh dear. Okay. Ugh! There's like two picks that I'm again stuck between. I think I'm gonna go with I don't want to look like I'm like mimicking Preston, so I'm not gonna go with that one. I think I'm gonna go with Elsa because I feel like that is out of left field, but also a solid pick.
Makes sense.
I had not even thought of Elsa.
I had Elsa on my list. I think she fits the bill as a
I
witch.
think so too.
I
think she's,
googled like best Disney witches, and she was on every single one. So like,
How many
try
how many
telling
other-
those little girls?
How many other characters are on that list?
Most of them are bad.
Yeah.
Like Ursula and some others, but Elsa is definitely on there. I
Yep.
will say, tough to control those powers. She
At
does
She
have
wasn't. She wasn't properly schooled.
Yes.
I
Once she
Here
got the
at
hang of her
Hogwarts.
emotions, she was like, all right, we're chilling now.
I suppose.
She was kind of like the like the Lupin of her
Interesting.
world, like where
Let's
they
not
would
give
probably
Elsa that much credit, shall we?
they would probably hide her away in the shrieking shack so that when she's having problems with her powers, like, here, girl, you just ice up this whole joint. It's fine.
Ice up.
Ice it up. Yeah,
Ice
I
up
mean,
the whole thing.
I've not seen the Frozen sequels, and Elsa is barely in the original Frozen movie, so I just feel like I don't know her character well enough to be like, yeah, she would be,
Frozen.
a points getter or not.
I've been trying to tell you this. Frozen 2 is actually pretty good.
It is.
Yeah, but don't you also like Frozen 1?
I think Frozen 2 is better than Frozen 1.
It's not enough for me.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to blow you away, but it certainly does much better to give her something to do, which is your principal criticism. Because the problem with Frozen 1 is they did their absolute best to avoid the damsel in distress story and still somehow got there, which is bad. But Frozen 2 definitely doesn't do that.
No,
so would highly
it's a
recommend.
strong female lead the whole through and through.
Yeah.
Okay. It's time for the final pick of the first half of the draft, and that pick belongs to me. And I think I am going to go with Yen Sid here. We don't see a ton of Yen Sid in Fantasia, but he clearly is extremely powerful. He is Mickey's master in the classic broomstick scene with Mickey and Fantasia, and just kind of an all-powerful wizard. So he feels to me like I'm getting Gandalf the Grey, but nearly 3 rounds later.
I just realized that Yen said backwards is Disney.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
so did I.
Lee, what did you do? What did you do? That movie came out in 1940. We
never
had
made that
so
connection.
long to figure it out.
Wow. I mean, I wasn't alive in 1930, so
True,
I haven't had that
true,
long
me
to figure it
neither.
out. But wow, never.
Just writing it down, I was like,
Wow,
It's been
my
a while
mind is
since
blown.
it's been a while since I've seen Fantasia, but he always kind of struck me as not incredibly like kind. He kind of struck me as like
He's a little intimidating.
yes, I guess that is the word
It's
I'm
a
looking for,
maestro.
intimidating.
But I think that that shows like a competitiveness that I think Yen Sid strikes me as the kind of guy who would really go all out to earn as many House Cup points as possible.
I'm gonna do you a favor here, and I'll read you the line from the Disney Wiki under personality.
Oh, please.
Underneath his harsh exterior is a man who strongly believes in his apprentices, no matter what mischief they may get into. It's pretty
Perfect. Beautiful. I love that.
good.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm taking against Sid.
All right.
That is the final pick of the first half of the draft. Here are the teams so far. Preston has Gandalf the Grey, specifically, Mary Poppins, and Doctor Strange. Lee has Merlin, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and Elsa from Frozen. And I have Glinda the Good Witch, Geralt of Rivia, and Yen Sid. Of course, the entire second half of the draft to come right after this. Preston, did you hear?
What?
The Drafted podcast, they have merch now.
Oh my god, I love those guys. They're great.
They're pretty great. Which one's your favorite, would you say?
Well, Daniel, because Daniel's never ruthlessly offended a group of people on accident. So definitely Daniel.
Oh, I kind of like Preston more myself. That Daniel guy, he seems like a little stuck up. But I think one thing we can all agree on is how great the Drafted merch is.
Mm-hmm. I'm wearing it right now. It's very comfy. I feel taller. I feel slimmer.
Yeah.
I feel like I could run a sub 4.840 now, which is like pretty good, I would say.
You look great, better than usual even.
Oh,
but yeah,
thank you.
You also, there's stuff you don't have to wear. There's stickers and stuff you put drinks in, which is great. I know you love what is it? What's that drink you like?
All of them?
No, you know the one.
A hot toddy.
Yeah, that's the one. They got sweaters, hoodies, shirts. What more could you want from a merch store, you know? You can get all of it at draftedpodcast.creatorspring.com. Okay, we are back. I have the first pick to get us back underway, and I am going to go with Samantha Stevens from Bewitched.
Good choice.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
A good choice. That's on my list.
There are a few words that I enjoy hearing more than that, Lee.
Now, here's the argument against.
Mhm.
Aren't most plots of the show about her accidentally causing chaos and trouble?
Yeah, but she always gets her way out of it. And if there's one thing we know about Harry Potter, it's that getting yourself into trouble and getting out of it racks up house cup points like there's no tomorrow.
Apparently,
Facts.
one of the more frustrating things, I must say.
One of the more frustrating plot devices. JK.
For breaking into the forbidden chamber and killing the giant ancient snake, you're awarded 12 points. Yeah, it's bullshit.
Also, just a very
Right.
kind soul and good-natured person should never get into any
Yeah.
trouble.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Fair.
All right. Oh, nuts. I always feel like it's so much pressure when I'm enjoying the picks and then I'm like, oh wait, it's
my turn all of a sudden. Yeah.
Crap. I am gonna go. I feel like I don't want to go too, cute either. Like I already got Elsa. Like, how much cuter do I need to go, right? So I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with a White Witch from Narnia.
Ooh.
This is bad. I'm sorry. I don't like this. She's crazy.
She is a little.
She wants to take
crazy.
over the whole world.
Very
and create
evil.
a new age of
Very
ice.
evil.
Super evil. Like she's not even like the
accomplished.
evil person you kind of agree with. She's just straight up like real bad.
But she's accomplished.
In the very C.S. Lewis religious Jesus allegory, she is not the good guy. Probably
Making me want to take back my pick. All right.
You can't take it back.
Can't do it now.
I know I can't, but I'm like,
Here's the argument, Lee, in your favor. Basically, I think you have to cop out behind, if she's a kid, she might not be totally evil yet.
Mhm.
You talk about Tom Riddle, right? Tom Riddle, clearly a fucked up kid.
Yep.
Went on to become the most evil man in the history of the Wizarding World in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter universe. But in school, he got the benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
And that ambition and evilness, kind of a good thing in terms of getting house cup points potentially. So I think that's the argument for taking an extremely powerful, extremely evil adult witch in this draft.
I agree.
It-
I
it
think
is-
also, like, you have to have a certain amount of skill in order to gather followers to you in a way
Mm,
to like have them support your cause to make you that
Mhm.
powerful, right? So like
yeah.
that's, I guess, my argument is that
Yeah.
like she has to
Cool.
be personable enough.
Yeah.
Plus-
so with my next
plus-
pick, I'm taking Benito Mussolini. It's just like a very attractive personality. You got to have charisma to get to that station in life. Listen, it's just like there aren't really many stories where like the evil villain, I will say anymore, it's like kind of a modern trend, but in older stories, the evil villain is just purely bad. Like they have the Thanos thing where you're like, okay, well, they've rationalized what he's trying to do. Sauron, the White Witch, some of these folks, Palpatine, they're just bad for being bad.
But the White Witch doesn't seem bad at first.
Yeah, that's because
Well-
she's manipulative as fuck.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so is Tom Riddle.
Okay.
true.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're both right here. I think Preston is correct.
No,
but
I definitely am not. I'm not glorifying the evil.
No, you.
Yeah.
you
How
are.
dare you?
You are. a
How
little
dare
bit.
you? You are a little bit.
I'm just trying to win.
Just
all right?
own it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
own
No,
it.
listen. Yeah, winning is all that matters on this show. It's true. I also would really be interested to see how the White Witch and Elsa get along. That would be have them living in the same
Ooh.
house would be kind of fun. I think.
Interesting.
I think that's actually very true.
Yeah.
Like they'll be living like up in the ice witch tower.
Mhm.
Like all the ice witches can go. See ya.
Hey, and and
Dismissed.
maybe being around Elsa will make the White Witch turn out a little different this time around.
When
It'll
she
make her even more
figures
evil
out-
because she'll fucking hate her so goddamn
I know. She'll have her right hand man in her
Yeah.
dominating empire.
much.
And I'm just
yeah,
realizing
okay.
too that these two people would never be in the same house anyway. So like
No.
I already fucked up, but whatever. It's
That's
fine.
okay.
It's fine.
That's not a
Yeah.
factor. Yeah. not
I
a
think
factor.
I've drafted 3 separate houses here too. So
Yep.
we,
think
for
we'll
sure.
have to break down who we think like which house our house is most likely to be in, and the ones that don't quite fit in with that. But for now, Preston, your 4th pick is up, and your 5th back to back.
okay. I'm gonna follow Daniel's lead here. And go the direction it sounded like Lee was a little scared to go in, which is cute. I think I can afford to with some of the people I have on my team. I'm gonna take Sorcerer Mickey Mouse, which my assumption is that works considering you took whatever Disney
master.
backward is.
Well, you're taking a very
Yes,
specific
Ned.
Mickey Mouse.
Yen
You're taking,
Sid.
yeah, you're taking Yen Sid, which my mind still blown about Yen Sid being Disney backwards.
I know. I haven't gotten over that yet.
Yeah. Mickey Mouse, the apprentice wizard of Yen Sid, who, to be quite honest, Preston, this is a terrible pick because Mickey Mouse is an abject disaster in this scene. That's the whole point.
But he's a good
He's-
student.
But notoriety.
No, he's not. He does not listen to directions.
He's
breaks the
he's the
rules.
boy who lived.
He
breaks-
he breaks the rules.
brooms.
He's lazy, which is why he breaks the rules. And then everything goes all to hell, and Jensen has to fix and clean up his mess.
I just think Mickey Mouse is a very likable character. At
He
this
is.
point, I'm kind of trying to avoid my own
You're just
White
drafting
Witch
for the
situation.
list. Yeah, you're just drafting
Yes.
for the list. But
He's-
the listeners are going to know what a disaster of a pick.
Okay. I don't think so, but okay.
Oof.
Do you
Um,
not
I think
remember how
that-
the scene goes in Fantasia?
I
I
think
mean, I
that
do, but it seems
Sorcerer
like
Mickey is like more notable than Yensid though. So I
Yeah.
think people are gonna like
well, that's because Mickey Mouse is. Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's kind of the whole point.
But that's what I'm saying. I think this is purely a pick for the graphic and not actually.
He's got chosen one energy just coming right off of him.
Yeah, but come on, it's not a good pick though. Name recognition, good pick, but any depth of
No,
analysis.
just stop there. Just stop there. Just stop there.
All right, fair.
I think it's fine. I think Mickey will be a fine student, if not a little incompetent. Maybe he's like my Neville Longbottom, which
Aw.
I seem to remember Neville Longbottom winning the House Cup.
Here's the difference though, because
Gryffindor.
Mickey
10 points.
I don't think Neville is lazy, and I think Neville is so meek that he doesn't go out of his way to break any rules ever.
He's a mouse.
Like
He's
his
a literal
mouse.
mouse.
His thing is that he hates people breaking the rules.
But he also fucks up a lot. So
He is a klutz. He is a klutz. But I think like being a rule breaker is going to lose you more points than just being klutzy.
True. Yeah,
okay.
rule breakers. Yep,
Okay. All right.
it's true.
I really I have no idea what to do here.
Uh-oh. Are
you
we
out
at the
of
end of
your
your list?
Well, so I'm not out, but the problem is like nobody's going to have heard of one of the people on my list.
Nobody?
I mean, very few people.
We could surprise you.
And some of the two of the others that I have on there could be potentially classified as anti-heroes. I don't want that.
Always good.
Yeah. One would just not do good in the Hogwarts environment. So I'm gonna take probably the only one on my list that I actually think would do fine in like a classroom environment and would try her darndest. But is not incredibly powerful, which is fine because that's not what this is about. I'm gonna take Marnie Piper from the Disney Channel original movie Halloween Town.
No, she was my next pick.
Sniped. Absolutely sniped. Marnie clearly is a good student, picks up magical concepts super quickly, and has a good family background that would lend itself to being very talented. Has a big Gryffindor energy too. Very courageous, brave, adventurous, caring, that kind of thing.
Here's the thing about this pick. Isn't there a better witch to pick in her own family?
Yeah, probably, but like I don't have the confidence that they will be good students. Like I like Marnie's energy as a learner of the craft.
She's a firstborn. She's got this.
I'm drafting her as like the only first year I have in my house. You know what I mean? She's clearly a rookie or a freshman.
Yeah. Hey, and you know, she wins. She's a winner. At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, she's on the side that ends up, being victorious, which is huge, as we know, for as any Gryffindor will tell you, really big for getting house points.
Finding ways to win. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Yeah, I think this is a fine pick. I still, not to give away a future pick potential, but I think the grandma was on my list and Marnie was not. But
yeah, I thought about that too. But I have way too many old people, and I have a feeling it's going to be hard for the listeners to like imagine what this house would be like with all.
You don't have to do any age projection with Marnie.
Right. This makes sense. She can slot right in just fine.
Mm-hmm. All right, Lee. It's time for your penultimate pick.
Oh dear. I feel like okay. I feel like nobody's gonna know that one. I guess I'm just I'm like trying to think through like White Witch was not a good choice, obviously. So I'm trying to like save my picks here.
I think White Witch is a defensible pick, I have to say.
It is, but it also was not
it is indefensible.
Wrong pick.
It is massively indefensible. It is no, definitely not.
I think I'm gonna go. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna go with Yennefer from The Witcher.
Oh, this is tough.
Yen.
Very, very talented. Very angry.
But
does not like rules and structure.
But only angry when she finds out how corrupt the whole system is. I think she would have been fine at Hogwarts. Like they're not like chopping out anybody's inside at Hogwarts. So
that we know of.
I
mean, there was a whole chamber of secrets with a murderous snake.
There were children getting
and
killed.
Possession. It's fine.
Yeah.
There could have been a lot of
everything.
There are 4 years of consecutive professors that are allied with the fascist dictator. So,
but it's fine.
And they all teach
fine.
the same class, by the way, which is like massive red flag.
Who was doing the background check on the?
Yeah, who's in HR? Who's in HR? They need to be immediately removed and questioned. Oh God, guys, we messed up with the dark arts teacher again. who should we get? We need somebody who's really going to win over the trust of the students. There's a little guy called Mad Eye Moody who I think can slot in.
Hey,
just
Mad
fine.
Eye was good though. It wasn't actually Mad Eye who was the bad guy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
come on. I mean, that was an upset.
To be
At least for
fair,
me, that was a twist that he was actually a good guy.
the plot twist is that position was cursed by Voldemort himself, because he came back to Hogwarts after he graduated looking for a job, and Dumbledore was like, nah, man, can't put you there. And he was like,
Wow,
well
is that
then,
true?
F you. Yeah.
So
And
he put a curse on it.
He put a curse on that Defense Against the Dark Arts position, because that's the position he wanted, and
That actually
Dumbledore
makes a lot
would
of
not
sense.
hire him.
Who
teaches it in the later years? Is it Snape?
Snape teaches it in the last year
Okay.
when
So he's obviously like already pretty bad. So like,
Yeah.
or pretty
He's a
bad.
double
in
agent.
quotes.
Yeah.
Interesting. I
do
didn't know
we think
Spoilers.
is Voldemort getting rejected from the Defense Against the Dark Arts, his being rejected from art school?
Oh, Daniel. Daniel, no.
No.
Can I
I
not ask
think-
that?
No. I think it's more like he wanted to use the
Daniel.
position to get ahead, and that
Okay,
did
so
not
he was
happen.
he was
So
already
he's
evil.
salty.
It didn't send him on his path to evil. He was already
No, he was already evil.
okay.
Just wanted to
Oh, no.
corrupt the young minds. Arts.
You can leave that in, right? That's fine.
Yeah, probably.
if you're questionable, I'll just leave it in for the subscribers. Subscribers only question.
No, I want people to know who you are. That's,
Surely they know by now. Surely.
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 Okay.
She's
I
good
think,
gal.
to be honest, I don't know Yennefer well enough to like really rip the pick apart. She's definitely very powerful. I know.
Very powerful. Yeah.
And she's a good student, because when she first starts out, she can't do magic for shit. And she
She gets the hang
slowly
of it.
learns, how to.
Also, I'm a little worried. This is maybe a little too meta, but you taking Yennefer and putting her in the same universe, I feel like might cause problems for Geralt and might get him into more trouble than he would have otherwise.
Power couple.
Yeah.
Well,
Potentially. Although to be fair, I think the same could probably be said of Yennefer. But
yep,
Is
that's
it?
true.
It's a little weird to me, especially when I was watching as a kid, that they don't share rooms as like 8-year-olds in their first year at boarding school, but they
They're-
share like
they're 11, aren't they?
sure, okay, 11. They're very close to each other in sleeping quarters, right? Maybe not in the
You mean the
books.
boys and the girls?
Yes,
Yeah,
I thought they were
they're
separate.
But
very close.
they are
together.
separate.
They're in separate
though.
rooms, but like, I mean, come on.
Well, separate staircases. And
Oh,
if
they're not behind the same portrait.
No, well, they're behind the same
The
portrait,
houses.
but then they're on separate. Like there's like a common room, and then
Right.
there's 2 staircases in opposite directions.
I
that
feel
go
like
up
that's
to
still
the
too
dorms.
close. Bunch of horny
But-
teenagers.
But fun fact: the girls can go up to the guys' dorms, but the guys cannot go up to the girls' dorms. It turns
That's
the stairs into a slide. and
very
they all
understandable.
Slide down.
That's very
So-
understandable. I totally get that. Makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
well,
there's protection there.
Yeah, there you go.
Built-in birth control. It's fine.
it was surprising to me that I grew up seeing those movies, and then when I went to college, there were rules about girls not being able to come into to my building where I
Oh.
lived as a college freshman. And I was like, "But wait a second,
In Harry
Aren't
Potter, they
all-
said it's
in
okay.
Harry Potter that it was fine."
They had like one dorm like that at my college for the girls, but like if you stayed
There was-
there, you're
yeah.
kind of a square. So like,
Mm.
There was one big one for the guys, one big one for the girls. I got to be
Yeah.
honest, it was never a problem I encountered a whole lot. I did not have a bunch of girls that desperately wanted to come over into the building.
No, that's just because
No.
you hadn't done drafted yet. That's why.
No, it's because
Yeah.
I tried to explain to them the Harry Potter rules, and then they went away.
yeah, you know.
All right, it's time for my final 2 picks. And I'm going to go off the beaten path. And this is perhaps me being a prisoner of the moment, because I just watched this movie to be a guest on Everyone's a Real Critic with our very good friend John Wolfe. That will be out next week. You guys should give that a listen. I'll post it in the drafted Discord where y'all should hang out with us all the time. I'm going to take Sally Owens from Practical Magic.
Oh,
I really respect you using a pick to plug a different podcast.
Genius, right?
Do you want to take an actual pick now?
That's my real pick.
I know, I'm just kidding.
See,
I have not seen the movie, so I have no way
Yeah.
of knowing.
Okay.
if
So
it's
so essentially Sally Owens is Hermione Granger. She's like very big, goody two shoes, extremely smart, extremely good witch, very powerful, but just a big time rule follower. Her sister is the real troublemaker, so I would never pick her in a million years. But the risk of Sally Owens is that people won't know her, as Preston does not. But just trust me that she's a fantastic pick, like objectively.
Okay, I mean, I guess we have to do that.
Yeah.
Good job, Dan.
Thank you. They also, added value that I get to plug the podcast I was on. I recorded that.
Listen to that.
Recorded that like an hour and a half before we started recording this episode. So pulling double pod duty tonight.
Also, if you're listening, everyone's a real critic, boys. I mean, come on. I love talking about movies. We'll find a time. Bring me in.
Will. Well,
loop me in.
We discussed getting both of us on, and we'll bring Lee with us as well. Why not?
I know it doesn't fit their premise, but we could use it as an excuse for you to watch the Lord of the Rings movies. Finally, it does not fit what their conceit of the show is. But
no, it certainly does not.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so I'm going to tell you with my final pick. Who do I go with my final pick here? I'm going to go off the beaten path again, I think. And I'm going to take Yubaba from Spirited Away.
Interesting. It's been so long since I've seen this movie.
She is extremely powerful, kind of runs the whole shebang, pretty strong witch, and very driven, very competitive. I think she would certainly be a Slytherin, would certainly be the type that would, I think, go out of her way to make sure the team wins the House Cup every year. And we also see that she's not completely evil. She has redeemable qualities, and in the end she ends up being on the side of the main character. So
she is listed as the main antagonist.
She is the main antagonist, but a main antagonist who as I said, is most, I won't say redeemable, but like you see that she, especially as a child, I think would just be she's not so evil that she's like out there murdering people. You know what I mean?
Where is she compared to the White Witch?
Oh, nowhere near. Nowhere near as cold and
okay, cool.
I mean, she has a demonstrated ability to show empathy and compassion.
Already better. So much better. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like really struggling with my final pick. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's tough.
Six picks go by real quick when you're well prepared.
It's a whole different beast being in the octagon.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Like my pick that I really want to go with, I'm worried that nobody's gonna know who it is.
I had someone else to take, and I just completely missed them on my
Forgot.
list. Yeah, that would have been a better pick than you, Baba. But
I'm hoping I've got who you're thinking of, because I picked a very Daniel pick, and I'm gonna need your approval on it.
Oh
dear.
But we're gonna let Lee go first.
Okay, I think. God. Okay, is your audience like musical theater listeners? You think?
Absolutely. Daniel, shut up. Absolutely.
Okay, so no.
We have a whole channel on the.
Listen, if you're going Wicked, I think that's fine. Most people are familiar with Wicked.
Okay, then I'm gonna go with Elphaba because
that's fair. Totally fair pick.
I feel like she's a good pick. I feel like she is intelligent. She is ambitious. She wants to do well, but also she's not treated kindly. So, hence the Wicked Witch. But that's one.
I don't know if she would she be confident enough to really assert herself in situations to earn.
Was Hermione confident enough in the beginning?
No, that's fair. Well, she kind of was though, because she always thought she was smarter than everyone else. Hermione.
It's true.
Elphaba does too, though. I think she's not like totally meek and mild. I think she just doesn't fit in with the other kids in her class. You know,
fair. That is fair. Yeah. Okay, I think it's a good
pick. I would say.
And people will know Elphaba. I think people know.
I hope so.
I think so too.
Wicked is big enough that you don't have to be a music theater nerd.
Science nerd.
To know at least the gist of the character.
Conceptually, what's going on there?
Yeah.
You don't have to be popular, is what you're saying?
We don't have to be
Whoa.
popular.
Whoa.
All right, Preston.
Perfect.
Preston, who is the final pick of the non-Harry Potter Wizards for the House Cup?
I'm going to say this and then immediately be very nervous because, again, it's been a very long time since I've seen this movie.
Okay.
But I think for
Lee,
our audience,
be ready to react like this is the worst pick in the history of the show.
Okay.
for our audience, I think this is a good pick. And from what I remember about the movie, I feel like it makes sense. I'm going to take Howl Pendragon from Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, it's such a good pick.
Thank you.
It's
Let's
such
go.
a good pick.
From what?
How do I think you, Bob?
Howl's Moving Castle. Is that who you said you had on the list that was better than you, Baba?
No.
Okay.
We'll get to that in the next segment.
Okay.
The problem with Howl extraordinarily powerful and
Yes.
very charismatic. People will love him. But he definitely has a very demonstrated disdain for any sort of rules or authority or any kind of expectation put upon him by anyone else.
It does, but I think that's
Gryffindor.
true. But it seems to only come on later in life, though. From what I've read and what I've looked at, because I didn't have time to watch the movie again before the show, it seems that if he was at a younger age, 11 to 15, then he's just a very gifted natural talent. That's basically
fair.
what we know.
He has
And
not
his
developed his
rebellious
cynicism
streak
yet.
doesn't come until like post college, it seems,
That's fair.
based on the wiki.
That no, that is fair. His cynicism is, I think, a very clear product of his realizations of how the world works once he becomes an adult, and is maybe a bit naive as a child, actually.
Right. And voiced by Christian Bale. Which
In the English version, yes.
Chef's kiss.
So good. That's a great last pick, Preston. I have to say, for one
Thank
that you pulled out of
you.
your ass, that's pretty solid.
Wow. Thank you. I never had to go below B tier on this list, thankfully, or else I was really going to be in trouble.
Lee, have you seen Howl's Moving Castle?
I don't think so.
No. Ooh. Have you seen any of the Studio Ghibli movies? Have you seen Spirited Away either?
I don't think so.
Oh
My
boy,
gosh, Lee.
we need to start get a cultural exchange going.
All right.
Get
I'm
Lee on
ready.
the,
I have
Studio Ghibli
homework.
films. They're
I
so
will,
good.
yeah, Dan,
You'll have
I
to-
will
you'll have to
trade
message
you.
me.
I will trade you 5. Is it Ghibli or Ghibli?
I think it's Ghibli, but
Okay.
I've heard both.
Okay. I will trade you 5 Studio Ghibli films for Lord of the Rings.
The problem is, I think you could watch like 7 Studio Ghibli films in the time it'll take me to watch the Lord of the Rings movies.
10 hours. 10 hours for Lord of the Rings extended.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you 5 hours of Ghibli films to watch.
Okay. When I come back on this show and it's done and you have not started your assignment, the people will riot.
Listen, we'll do a Ghibli draft and we'll do a Lord of the Rings draft. That's just how it's gonna go.
Mhm.
Totally fair.
Which means that you have to actually watch them in order to do this. So
It's true.
Or else you will be found out very quickly.
You think I can fake my way through it? All right, for this draft though, we are now wrapped up. Here are our houses. Preston has Gandalf the Grey, Mary Poppins, Doctor Strange, Mickey Mouse, Marnie Piper, and Howl from Howl's Moving Castle.
So good.
Lee has Merlin, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Elsa the White Witch, Yennefer from The Witcher, and Elphaba. And I have Glenda the Good Witch, Geralt of Rivia, Yen Sid, Samantha Stevens from Bewitched, Sally Owens from Practical Magic, and Yubaba from Spirited Away. Of course, we have to break those teams down right after a quick break.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite host here to ask you on behalf of the Appen Podcast Network, our parent network, to go check out some of their other shows. I'm partial to the Georgia Politics Podcast. I'm a host there every week. We play games at the end of every episode, trivia, great way to stay in touch with local issues going on here in Georgia, but we also touch on national things too. Would really appreciate if you come give us a listen. Check out everything the Appen Podcast Network has going on at appenmedia.com, APPENMEDIA.com.
Okay, we are back, and it is time for everyone's favorite part of the show. And as I say that, I actually don't know if that's true, but I just assume it is because the vast majority of the feedback we get is people telling us how stupid we are for the picks we made. So I assume that this is your favorite part of the show. Y'all, what was the worst pick of the draft? Let's start with Preston. I think we know Preston's thoughts actually.
It's either Elsa or the dictator. No, I'm just
Wow.
kidding. It's so clearly the dictator that like turns her enemies into stone and hoards them like some sort of statue garden, and then ritually sacrifices the Jesus allegory on a stone tablet. I think it's that one. I think that one might be the worst.
Okay.
Are you saying the Satan of the draft? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
it's possible. It's possible that the Satan metaphor is not a great Hogwarts student.
Yeah, maybe not the best. What's second worst pick then? Because we've I think taken apart the White Witch pick a fair amount already.
I don't know. It feels like there had to be a couple people better than I keep forgetting her name, the main antagonist from Spirited Away.
Yubaba.
Yeah, it's a last round pick, so like you get a little bit of a pass, but like there had to be some people that were better on
there
the board.
we'll get to that, and people that I left on my board. I lost the person I really wanted. I just lost it in my list. And I think it was mostly a pick of just a love of Studio Ghibli and appreciation of that movie. And then I was mad at myself because you took Howl, which I think honestly was a better pick. Like I could have gone with a better selection for Ghibli love. But Lee, what about you? Who do you think was the worst pick?
That's a good question. I would say, I mean, aside from the obvious White Witch pick, which
We've not had many people pick their own pick as worst pick in the history of the show.
That's
I
me.
have, I think once.
I think Preston's done it once. Yeah, I think that may be it.
I overthink and I panic, so
It happens.
White Witch it was. I'm gonna go probably. I don't know.
Here, I'll tell you. It's Mickey Mouse.
It's Mickey Mouse.
It's Mickey Mouse. Now, again, I think purely based on the value of the name recognition on the graphic, I think it's a good pick. But like if you actually like actual wins above replacement level as a pick, Mickey Mouse is horrible. Horrible pick. He's the whole point of that bit in Fantasia is that he's just everything that is the worst you can be when in terms of winning house points.
Is he going to lose house points?
100% without a doubt.
Really?
So many.
Really?
So many. And I don't really see like the ceiling of him gaining much either, to be honest with you.
Okay. I disagree. I don't see him as the kind of like when he's put into a school like a rule breaker like that. I understand the evidence, but I choose to ignore it.
Okay.
But also, Samantha Stevens could be argued to lose house points as well because Snape hates klutzy people for one.
Yeah, but Snape is dead.
He's not dead. Like maybe he's not dead in this.
What is this setting? I thought we were using book one setting.
No, come on, that was never established.
So technicality then.
I want to go to Professor Quirrell's class.
Oh, why?
AKA Voldemort, but that's cool.
Yeah, AKA actual Voldemort. Yeah. I literally think the White Witch would have been more successful than Voldemort.
It's true. Just a little.
No, when you said successful.
I mean, she would have achieved the shared goal with better efficiency and vigor.
Wow.
It's because she's a woman. Let's be real.
There you go.
Very fair. Very fair.
We get shit done.
None of this messing around,
Voldemort's problem.
splitting your soul into 7 pieces of crap. What are we
Yeah,
doing?
that's like incredibly inefficient. Okay.
Yeah, what do you even do? You don't even know where they are. You've lost them all.
Like it's not like you put them somewhere safe. You're just like, here, let me
even
just
try putting one behind like
over
a
here.
combination lock or something. Yeah, let me put it in the place where I went to school. Like, oh yeah, nobody's gonna think to look there. Jesus.
Or the cave where you took people to torture them and
exactly.
Or his pet
or
that
my
them literally at all
box.
times.
My deposit box in the bank. Come on.
Not even his deposit box. His followers' deposit box.
Yeah, give me a break.
Come on.
Come on.
Don't ever trust people that much.
What
Come
an
on.
idiot.
Where you
I don't,
give them
should
a piece
I
of your soul.
should I be concerned that both of your main takeaways from Harry Potter is like all the things that Voldemort could have done to be more successful in his endeavor?
I mean, to be fair, Dumbledore could have done a little bit better with school security.
Yes.
And rules, ground rules.
I don't know that anybody comes out of that looking like they were.
No.
Everybody
no.
came out the hero in that story.
Neville looks pretty good.
But he had a glow up. Let's be real.
Yeah,
As
expectations
before.
were really low. Really low. Yeah.
Would we even have the phrase glow up if it weren't for Neville Longbottom? Like
I
who's
don't
the
know.
key
I feel
figure
like he's
in
the
our
OG.
lives? Yeah.
He's
A
the
key
OG
figure
glow-up.
in glow up history.
He's the OG, the original glow up.
He is.
Oh, that's great.
All right. Who did we leave on our draft boards that you would have been excited to pick but ended up running out of room? I'll start here because I know you both were kind of maybe scraping the bottom of the barrel, but I totally had Nanny McPhee lined up as my last pick because she is basically Wish.com version of
Budget Mary Poppins.
Yeah. And that feels like a pretty good pick in the last round. I just like I panicked after I made my second to last pick and just like I was like, I know I had a pick and now I can't see it on my list. And so I panicked, took you Baba.
Picked.
Yeah.
I think
you
white
white
have
witched.
a
I did.
you white
Well,
witched.
oh no, let's
Oh,
not get
hold
carried
on.
away.
No, it's not
I did
that
not
bad.
white witch. I did not white witch. I panic picked that I did not white witch. I want that to be crystal clear.
We are absolutely using that term going forward. When you anxiety your way into the
I
worst
white-witched.
possible outcome.
Yes, you white witched.
I think the biggest problem with your team, Daniel, is name ID, and I think that
That's
would have
so
helped
often
a
the
little bit.
case for me. I
Yeah.
get two in the weeds.
You fought, but I appreciate it because you're following your gut. I just think your gut doesn't exactly line up with anybody else's.
It's a very Ravenclaw thing to do. Are you sure you're in the right house?
I've done it several times. It's been Hufflepuff, all but once.
Overthinking is our specialty, you know.
Yeah, well, I don't think I overthink. I think maybe sometimes I underthink. I just like, or just don't care what other people think. I think better than other people and just don't care that like the masses will disagree with me.
I'm just gonna cut that bit out.
That's the cold open.
Yeah,
in perpetuity.
forever. Why do we need a new one? It's the perfect intro.
Yeah. Lee, what about you? Did you have any other people on your list that you were prepared to take?
I had so many.
Who else? Who were some
I
of the
was
highlights?
struggling. I was going to go. I wanted to go Wanda. I wanted to go Scarlet Witch.
I had Scarlet Witch too on my unpicked.
Well, we talked about it before the podcast, so I kind of was like, do I go with it? Do I not go with it? Because it's kind of obvious now. But I didn't know how much of Game of Thrones fans your audience might be, because I was gonna go with Melisandre, who's the Red Witch in the later seasons.
Also has some negative tendencies.
Yeah.
Also has some negative tendencies. But not all
See
bad.
reference burning children alive.
And also
But not all bad.
never really shows up as being like ultimately that powerful as a figure either.
Literally
I
the
can
last
bring people
season,
back from the dead.
that seemed very lucky. She
She does
clearly
it
had.
twice.
It did not seem like she was very confident that was going to work.
Also like that weird cult of men seem to be able to do that as well.
Cult of personality.
Is that what they're called? I can't remember what they're
That
called.
is not what they're called.
Oh.
The guy who has the flaming sword that keeps coming back from the dead. He's also able to do that. Unnamed bearded man.
That never really paid off. They never really had like a payoff, did it?
One of many things that didn't pay off quite well enough in that show. I think you have the same problem with both of those, which is negative personality traits. Scarlet Witch especially does not seem to be able to
control her shit.
Keep it under control. Yeah.
I also had Matilda, but again, I felt like she was a little bit too accident prone. I had Galadriel from Rings of Power and Lord of the Rings.
Galadriel, I probably would have fought you on as a non-witch.
So yeah,
because
she's more like a celestial, I guess, right?
Yeah, I don't know what her powers really amounted to before she was given a magic artifact. I think it's like, I don't know. She's got the same properties of all the other high elves, which doesn't seem to like distinguish her as a witch. So I would have thought you on that a little bit.
Have you been watching Rings of Power?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
She's got it going on, but all the high elves do. So like I don't know that you would like, I don't know that you could classify her as a witch.
Well, she was on one of the lists when I was researching, and I was like, oh, see that. So I threw her on there, but I wasn't really. Winifred Sanderson, again, like kind of a negative connotation, but also a go-getter. So
that's Hocus Pocus, right?
Yes, absolutely a go-getter. I think that's probably the least evil person you could have gone for.
Yeah, but I think a good non-pick.
Yeah,
but also she eats children, so
yeah, off screen, but yeah.
It is a Disney movie after all.
Preston, how about you? Did you have any that were left on your board?
I also had Scarlet Witch. I had Gambit, which because I love Gambit from X-Men. Love Gambit, but feels like the exact wrong archetype for a school setting because his whole thing is gambling and like criminal underbelly. So
would have lost just some points.
Would have lost a couple points. He's not. I would not say he's like evil, but he does things that in a classroom setting you would say are like evil,
frowned upon,
like poker. Yeah. And I also had
definitely against school rules.
Yeah, definitely against school rules. I also had Radagast the Brown, who's an amazing wizard character from Lord of the Rings. I think if I was just picking this list like for myself, I probably would have taken him, but I don't think anybody really has a great sense of like who he is or what he's about. And I didn't want the big name ID miss on my list. But Radagast is a wonderful Lord of the Rings wizard.
I also had a couple of the Charmed sisters on my list, but I felt like that probably was a little too off the
little bit of a cut.
Yeah, a little bit of a deep cut, at least probably for our audience. Okay, it's time for the final question of the show. Whose house is winning the House Cup?
I feel like I had one of my better drafts this year, so I'm going to take mine. We don't have to dwell on it too much, but I really feel like I didn't miss very much. I feel like both of you have a couple misses. But I feel like the misses on Daniel's team are probably closer to like a net neutral than they are a net terrorism. So I'm gonna go with Daniel's team. Almost by default though, because I do think, Dan, you have a real problem of people not knowing who any of these people are. I'm gonna write Yin Sid and people are gonna think it's a typo.
I believe in the drafted listeners of knowing my lesser known things.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna go with.
All right, that's fair.
Lee, how about you?
I would also go with Preston's team because he got to like 75% of the picks that I wanted to take just before I got there. So Preston kind of has my dream team, and I'm with my B-listers. That's how it went.
Ouch.
Oof, that's rough.
Oof.
Yeah, I think Preston wins this one. I still think Mickey Mouse is a disastrous pick, but I think that won't come back to haunt him in the poll because people won't think about Mickey Mouse that way. And I think his first three picks are just so strong. And his closer. I think Marnie is pretty underwhelming as a pick too, to be honest with you. She's kind of like that net neutral, like it just isn't gonna get you points, but isn't gonna lose you points, really, probably. But I do like Howl as the closer. Also, I guess I lied. Not the final question. Which house do we think our houses are? I obviously not everyone's gonna fit into across the board, but what's the house most likely to be?
Yeah, I find this really tough. I don't know a lot about the personality traits about the houses. So
Preston is easy Gryffindor, I think.
Really? Gandalf and Mary Poppins feel Gryffindor-y. Actually, Doctor Strange does too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Strange is like 50-50 Gryffindor, Slytherin. Mickey definitely Gryffindor. Howl,
Marnie Harper. Marnie Piper actually feels very Gryffindor too.
Oh, I feel like Marnie. I feel like Marnie could be in.
She goes off on adventures, getting into trouble, and
yeah, and Howl, without a single doubt, is a Gryffindor.
Okay, I'll take it.
Lee, what do you think? I'm not even going to try to project on Lee's team because she's the expert here.
I'm gonna say so. Merlin is typically associated with Ravenclaws. I also feel like Sabrina's the learner, and Elphaba as well. I'd say my team is probably like 60 to 70% Ravenclaw. Even Yennefer could be argued. She could go either way, Slytherin or Ravenclaw, but I feel like it's half Slytherin, half Ravenclaw.
White Witch
the White
is
Witch
just
is a
so
Slytherin
Slytherin.
reject. She's not even
So fun
human
fact,
enough for Slytherin.
Slytherins and Ravenclaws are like close cousins, basically. Like
really?
Slytherins want knowledge for the sake of getting ahead or like gaining power. They want it like for an outcome. Ravenclaws like knowledge for the wisdom. Like they like knowledge just for the sake of knowledge, sort of thing. So like the Slytherins want the knowledge to use it, and the Ravenclaws want the knowledge because like they feel successful just learning things, essentially. So I feel like my team's got a little bit of that going on, both sides. Some of them want power, some of them just want to know things.
I feel like I'm kind of all over the place. I feel like Glenda is probably Ravenclaw. Geralt
Could be Hufflepuff too.
Yeah, between those two, Geralt for sure, Gryffindor. Yen Sid could be Gryffindor or Slytherin, I would say. Samantha Stevens definitely Hufflepuff. Sally for sure Ravenclaw, and then Yubaba probably a Slytherin. So I feel like I'm kind of covering all my bases. I feel like it's hard for me to pick just one for my team.
I could say I could see, who's the second one you said? Glenda. Geralt. I would see him actually, honestly, more as a Slytherin.
Yeah,
I think
I could see
than
that.
a Ravenclaw, because he's more like, you know.
I said Gryffindor for him, but yeah, I could definitely see.
Yeah,
Slytherin.
yeah, I could see Slytherin. But, yeah.
Well, that wraps us up. Of course, it comes down to who you think won the draft. Be sure to vote over at Drafted Pod, and we do have one question coming up. We still have to figure out which house Preston is a member of. We're going to save that, though, for our Patreon listeners, so stick around for that if you are a Patreon supporter. But otherwise, Lee, thank you so much for coming on. It was such a great time having you.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It was an honor to be the last friggin' nerd chosen.
Save the best for last. You have
obviously.
to, you know?
Yes, of course.
But Lee, I mean, people know about Friggin Nerds, of course, but what's the spiel? Where can people go to support you?
So we have a Twitch channel where we stream live on Tuesdays and 2 Saturdays a month. We play D&D on Saturday, every other Saturday. And we have a podcast on Tuesdays that is kind of like the Drafted sister podcast. We do a draft at the end of our podcast, so that's always a ton of fun. And that's actually how we met.
Yeah.
Preston and Dan. So we have the Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/friggin nerds. I should probably know my own channel, right?
Seems
That
right.
seems right? It's either Friggin Nerds or Friggin Nerds Media.
I think it's
One of
Friggin
the two.
Nerds Media, but I'm not positive.
I
Here,
think Twitter is Friggin Nerds.
Yes, that sounds right.
Wow, I like.
I'll
should have.
post the links in the Discord for you all, and I always tag on Twitter as well. Yeah, it's Friggin Nerds Media on Twitch.
Perfect, thank you. So yeah, Friggin Nerds, twitch.tv/Friggin Nerds Media, and then we have our podcast episodes released on Thursdays at on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, like anywhere you get your podcasts, we post the podcast. So go look us up, Friggin Nerds Podcast.
Yeah, go support the Friggin Nerds, y'all. As Lee said, they 100% are our sister pod. We love them with all our hearts, except for that dirty heel Mario.
You know,
We can't stand that guy.
he keeps peeking in every once in a while, and I'm like, go away, you're not allowed to hear this.
Yeah, he's got to listen like everybody else.
You're a peon.
I love that. Peon Mario.
Yes.
Lee, thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute blast. For Preston and myself, we will talk to you all next week.